Hey guys, so this is a video about the ninth. We're going to explore some of the we call them the extensions we can use in music with different chords. And today I'm going to focus exclusively, I think, on the ninth and just how this can work to really help out our just our options as far as tonal color, stuff like that. So the nice thing about this, most of you guys are familiar with seventh chords, right? So if we look at here, I'm playing with C major 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we know the variations there. We have what's called the dominant 7, right? That guy. Where I lower the 7th to B flat. And then the minor 7th also lowers the 3rd there. So you can get a lot of different moods with those, just those three. But once those are kind of well and understood, you're able to, you notice we are skipping these notes in the scale. They're still there. So if we put these up here, those are referred to as the extensions. There's three of them. There's the 9th, the 11th, and the 13th. Same as 2, 4, 6 down here. But so this would be, you call it a fully extended C major 7 chord. And the thing about these guys on the very top, they've got some rules to them. You kind of have to know when to sharp it, when to flat the 13, all that kind of crazy stuff. The nice thing about the 9th is it's always a nice sound, and it's appropriate on all three types of 7th chords. Let's hear it with each one. I'm going to start with the major 7. Right. Adds in a nice kind of little melancholy right there. And then with the dominant 7, again, just kind of gives a little bit of a different shade there. Doesn't change the type of chord. It's still C7. You can always do this even if the chord symbol doesn't call for it. Right, just adds up. And then minor 7, again, works really nice. So what I would encourage you to try just to explore the sound of this is just find your 9th, whatever key center you're in. C is probably a good place to start. And just cycle through those 3, 2, 3, 4. You can do it again. One last time. Great. So that's going to be a nice way to add. And notice I'm playing two hands. I mean, I guess it's possible to do it, like that. But nobody does that. If you're doing this, it's generally the two-handed thing. All right. So when do we use this sort of thing? We can use it a lot of different ways, but one of the ways is to thicken up our basic chords. So let's say the chord symbol calls for C major 7. Basically you would just play that. You can add this, but consider doubling the chord, right? C, E, G, B, C, E, G, B. But instead of doing the root, that's redundant, right? I can easily move my thumb over, add that 9th in there, and I get that nice little major 2nd crunch. Sounds really jazzy, right? That's going to be the one. And then, of course, we can do that with our dominant chord and our minor chord. Right? So a good rule of thumb is if you are doing a two-handed chord, avoid the root in the right hand and always try to opt for the 9th whenever possible. Even if you're doing an inversion, let's see here. All right, so again, one way to thicken up your variation there would be to double it with an inversion, right? C major 7 over E. But again, I've got the C up here, and I've got a nasty little half-step crunch right there. So instead, right, if I play the 9th on top, E, G, B, D, there's my 9th, much more just prettier voicing versus this, right? Kind of harsh. That's the one. And then let's look at that shape with our different types. This is the dominant. Very nice. And then the minor 7th. Cool. So all, again, really usable sounds, especially for those nice two-handed chords that a lot of us are looking for. So okay, real quick, this right hand shape I'm doing, if I'm thinking of C major 7, I would call this a 3, 5, 7, 9 voicing, and that is essential for the right hand to know. So whenever you're going around through different chords, let's say for example G major 7, that guy there. And I want to make it prettier. I want to beef it up. My go-to here, I go to the 3rd of the chord. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. So G major 9. would be that guy. And then again, let's take it through those three types, the G7 or G9, G dominant 9, and then G minor 9. Again, it works just as well. Cool. And then just so we are exhaustive here, let's find the right, that'd be 9, 3, 5, 7 major, Mixolydian minor. Ta-da! Cool. So again, it's a simple trick, but it'll help us to find some voicing just outside of that kind of locked-in 7th chord shape that a lot of us start with. Okay, cool. So what I'd like to try here is taking it through a couple chords. So I'm just going to go up and up the scale, basically. I'm going from C major 7, D major 7, E, F, and G, but adding those guys first. D will have the F sharp and C sharp. E, same shape, G sharp and D sharp. F major 7, all white keys. G major 7. Okay, so already sounds good. Let's try adding just a simple ninth on top of those guys. So D, our ninth is E, and again, if you need to, you can reference where the root is, go up one whole step, that's the ninth. Second scale step is another way to think of it. That's it for E, so the F sharp. That's it for G, or excuse me, F major 7. G will be our whole step up. G major 9, there on top. All right, cool. Let's give it a little rhythm, pick up the pace some. Again, starting back at C, we'll go whole note chords. We'll go 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, super cool. And then let's go ahead and expand that. Let's see if we can use our 9, 3, 5, 7 voicing with the, remember you'll have a crunch there at the end, in that same chord progression. So if I'm starting on C, again, I'm finding my ninth, I'm adding the rest of the chord up there, not the root, but the ninth. So I'm having 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Nice job. And again, you know, obviously take your time to study each one if you're having trouble finding the notes, but I think if you do the math, it will work out just fine. Let's try that same thing with our dominant chords now. So again, just watch out for these lowered sevenths. So C7, that guy there. Okay. And then D7. Right. E, dominant 7. Sorry, the angle's kind of weird, but B and D are my top ones there. G7. Okay, so now up to speed. Let's see what we can do. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Excellent. And we can do the same thing with the minors. I guess I shouldn't slack. I should do that. So here we go. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. F minor 7. G minor 7. Okay, great. So that's from a voicing standpoint, or how we're going to do the chords. Another thing we can easily do with the ninth is use it as a starting point or a goal point for our improvisations that we're going to use. So for this, I won't go through the you know, all the types. Let's stick to the majors. We'll keep a pretty sound going on. But so for example, you know, when the chord's in play, I always think that the first note we play in our line is the most important. So if we're targeting the ninth, that's going to be much better than if we're targeting the root. This tends to tether us down if we're like too predictable, right? But if we're starting on the ninth, right? And notice I'm using that same voicing. I'm just kind of stepping around it. All right, going to here. Ninth on top. All right, so it's a more open sound. And again, it makes you work a little bit harder, but it's a nice thing to do. And again, you can switch between chords with it. It's going to be great. If I went up to E, ninth would be this. Works really well with the seventh in there too. What would the ninth be here? The G. Cool. So let's hear that a little bit faster here, more smooth. So again, there's my ninth. Cool. And some of you guys might be used to landing on thirds and sevenths. This is just another good one to kind of add into your Rolodex of target notes, I guess is the best way to think of it. All right, great. So one last thing here. Give you guys a little owl so you know this is the point in the vid. Let's take a basic blues pattern. Bob, my student Bob Gunnison, was kind of the inspiration for this video. So we do a lot of the blues. But instead of doing our typical blues where we'd have these dominant chords moving around, let's make it a major 7 blues. So what we'll do here, and then up to the 4 will be F major 7. Back to the 1. Okay, and then we'll go to G major 7. So I know it doesn't sound very bluesy. Again, when we have these major 7s in here, it's going to be there. But basically, we're following the template for where the chords are going to change. So 4 Cs, 2 Fs, 2 Cs, a G, an F, and a C. And then in my right hand, I'm going to just go 9th, 3rd, 9th for all these guys. So it'll sound something like this. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Easy, right? But again, just mastering, getting control of landing on the 9th and getting accustomed to the sound so you guys can use it in any of your improvs or compositions, however you're feeling it. All right, last thing, let's expand past that. I'll just give you a quick example. I'm going to use the same chord progression, starting on the 9th, but this time I'm going to experiment a little more through the scales that go with it. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Cool. So again, experiment, but add that into your toolbox. It's a good one to know, and it'll always help you sound just a little bit more developed as a player than just those standard 7th chords. All right. Thanks, you guys, very much. Shout out to Bob again for kind of questioning about that stuff, and hopefully this helps. I'll see you guys soon.